Hey, what's up, everybody? The Island Viper here. I just got back from the 11th annual Kentuckiana GI Joe toy show, and this is an awesome show for the area. It's getting a lot bigger, and it's always a good time. I've been doing this show, at least going to it, for a decade. In the last 10 years I missed the first show, but in the last 10 years I have only missed one, maybe two of these shows, and I've been setting up a booth or a table at this show for at least 7 of those years, and it's just always such a great time. At the last summer show a year ago, we had Ron Rudat out. I helped sponsor that to bring him out. He and his wife are absolutely wonderful people. So if you ever get a chance to meet Ron Rudat and his family, I mean, they are fantastic people to talk to and hang out with. He's very insightful, has a lot of information on the ARAH era of GI Joe, and he was actually working at Hasbro prior to the ARAH era. I believe he was I believe he worked on some of the GI Joe stuff that was before that. Met a lot of friends. I can't give all of you a shout out because it's just, you meet so many people in rapid succession. But this show is Friday, Saturday. Friday is a 3-hour dealer preview, so all of the dealers are able to load in early Friday and not have to worry about anybody coming around shopping or anything like that. And then other dealers, we all check out each other's booths, we check out each other's tables and what all we have, and a lot of us engage in some trading and buying and selling amongst each other. And then from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. you have the early bird preview show. It's called the dealer preview, I think. But that's where a certain ticket package allows you to come in the day before the show after dealers are set up and shop and hang out from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Then they kick everybody out, lock up all the doors and everything, make sure it's all secure. Then we end up having like some trading and some visiting and whatnot in the hotels, or go out to dinner. And it's always just a fantastic time, a lot of camaraderie and a lot of really awesome stuff at this show that you don't typically see at other toy shows. But I actually spent more at this show than what I would typically spend at any toy show. I either have or have had a lot of stuff. So mostly if I'm looking for something, it's something very specific, and the chances of me finding the item that I'm looking for are pretty slim. But Todd Henderson with Destro's Toy Den actually had exactly what I was looking for. I wanted a Mezco Firefly. This is one of them that I needed, and was able to pick up from his booth without having to order it and pay for shipping and all that stuff, and risk having it come in crushed. Man, this is an absolutely beautiful figure. I'm not going to take it out of the box. I might make a review video on some of the Mezco figures, but for now, like, that, it's just a for me type thing. Just something I'm collecting for myself, and there's not really a lot of those things, because usually, like, I'm fully into classified and collecting that entire line, but whenever I buy classifieds, I am buying in bulk to resell for my business. I buy in bulk at wholesale from a distributor, and I sell at retail for the most part. Exclusives and stuff like that, I sell them at market value. There are only a few things that I only buy like one of for myself, and don't really engage in the retail or reselling aspect of it. And Mezco is one of those things. They're really premium line, and I love these just absolutely beautiful figures. The next thing that I do that with is a toy line that friends of mine have brought new life into. They brought back to life. This toy line was only alive back in I believe 1978 and 79. It was the G.I. Joe Super Joe toy line. And this was a different scale. This was after the 12-inch figures. They had gone down to, I believe these figures are 8.5 inches tall. They're like 1/9 scale, I think. But Super Joe only lasted for really a year, but it was out there for 78 and 79. And my friends Steve Stovall and Jason Schiermeyer, they were going to actually use the Super Joe name in the title Super Joe Unlimited, and ended up having to change the name, and now it's like the specific figures I purchased this time are it's the Command series of figures. And this one, Captain Xandar is part of the Astro Command, and I will do a full I'll start doing some full videos on the Super Joe style figures for the Adventure Command or Astro Command. It's all like adventure team sci-fi based, which is exactly what Super Joe was whenever it came out. I think that it tried to incorporate some stuff that may have been a little bit ahead of its time as far as themes go. Maybe not. It was very sci-fi, and it was also the first time that G.I. Joe had an enemy, had like a bad guy that was featured as figures for the toy line, and that was Gore and the Terron, and there was some others as well. But I mean, it was very hokey sci-fi stuff that I absolutely love, because I like old black and white B movies and stuff. When I was a kid, I would watch on the Sci-Fi Channel. They would do these things on like Saturdays or Sundays where it was all day just black and white B movies and MST3K, and like I loved stuff like that growing up. So the sci-fi aspect of G.I. Joe fit right into what I loved. The same thing with Transformers, and then later on when I learned about what Super Joe was, never saw any of them before, but I'm getting messages. That's what the dings are. I need to. It's open because I'm using it, and I can't really turn it off right now. But anyway, this figure is Captain Xandar, and I'll do a full video on him, but he's very reminiscent. You can tell that he's inspired by the ARAH Destro figure. This is actually Dark Forces Galactic Arms Dealer. Pretty cool figure. I've seen it out of the package. I'm actually going to take this one out of the package and put him into a clamshell case for display. This is getting annoying, and I'm just going to have to turn it off. I don't know who's messaging me. I can't see it pop up on my phone. But anyway, yeah, very Destro-esque inspired character, and can't wait to open him up and get him in a clamshell case. You know what? I'll probably make a video on this figure specifically. Next up, we have a figure from the Adventure Command, same line. I'm not like fully invested into this line. I just pick up a couple of them here and there that I'm kind of a sucker for. Either metallic or translucent or whatever. They do a lot of really cool stuff with this line, though. So the Abominable Snowgore, they actually made a set that is 2 figures. It's this figure and another figure that's like a whole adventure team themed set with a story and everything about the hunt for the Snowgore. And I think that might actually be what it's called. But I mean, they do a super nice job on these. They're all in, just the plain white. I don't remember exactly what these boxes are called, but they're available from a supplier. I'm actually going to be using some of these boxes soon as well for some of my 3D printed products. But you have a sticker on the cover of the box. But what I'm going to try to do is use some of this artwork for the clamshell cases that I put these in. I have a card back for them, but like I can feel this in there and it's really heavy. But this figure actually has like a real fur suit to make him like why can't I say that word now? Abominable snowman, but instead of snowman, it's the Snowgore. And Gore is the bad guy in the Super Joe Unlimited set, and this Gore is done in white plastic. But anyway, we'll make a video for that guy too, and some of the others that I have. I've got a few others, and they're pretty cool. And up next, something I've recently gotten into in the 1/18th scale, Marauder Gunrunners. So when you purchase Marauder Gunrunners in person at their booth, you get a Marauder Gunrunners tote bag. This is Marauders Task Force MTF, Marauder Gunrunners. But you get a tote bag, you get some free gifts and stuff. The figures, I only buy so far. I really don't want to get into like all the accessorizing and stuff, but they have a fantastic website with a ton of stuff where you can basically just create your own figures from parts and pieces and kits. So I buy the Geared Up. They're called Geared Up figures, and it's just a kit with a buck and some extra parts, accessories, and everything to make to basically make your own figure, or to make a figure that they've put together. So one of the Geared Up figures that I got was the Skelly Ninja, using one of the heads from the Skeletron line, and it actually comes with a Skelly here, as you can see. Might make a video on some of these, putting them together and whatnot, but you've got extra legs, you've got extra arms to make him short sleeve. I should have bought a couple more of these guys. I don't know why I didn't, but I should have. A couple of the guys who deal in these actually live here in the state of Indiana, so I might be able to get a hold of them and get them shipped down. I don't know if they have any in stock, like in hand, or you can just order them off the website. But anyway, I need another one so that I can put them together with both deco versions that are included. A lot of their figures are G.I. Joe themed. They're not exactly G.I. Joe copies, but they are themed after some G.I. Joe action figures, and this one is themed after the Battle Android Trooper. This is a really cool figure to put together. I love these new heads. These new heads are like 2 or 3 pieces, and they have a chrome faceplate with different texture on it. You also get a sticker with that tote bag to put all your stuff in. You get a really nice decal. I mean, this really is a nice sticker as far as stickers go. I got a Marauder ink pen, a Marauder ink pen. I picked up a couple of their 1/18th scale modular M4 rifles. So these M4 rifles have have grips, sights, handguards, ports for all of those parts, removable magazines. I mean, this is extremely detailed for 1/18th scale, and they're pretty rigid, but I don't think they're necessarily just going to break or anything on you. They also make accessories. They make gun packs for 1/12th scale. I wish that they made 1/12th scale figures. I know we have some 1/12th scale figures coming out in the Skeletron line, and I'm really excited to get all of that. But bought some of their old stock figures. Here's one of the female bucks with a ton of parts. So this actually comes with like some extra body parts and stuff too. So I'm going to be able to make probably use all this stuff across a few different figures, and like glasses and lenses and stuff. And this one here, this is a pretty cool looking female figure. I don't know what she is. I haven't got it out and messed with it or anything. I didn't see these assembled, but they're not hard to put together. So I got a kind of an Outback themed contractor type figure, like a military contractor type figure here. That one was one of the Geared Up figures. Night Force Outback, that's what this figure is kind of themed after. You've got the bearded redhead there with it, and you know, the rest of his gear is kind of a more modern take on the Outback figure. And then another one of the old stock female bucks, put together a trooper. And now Marauder Task Force is making a line of figures themed after Z-Force, that green, black, red original Action Force Z-Force line. And can't wait to put that together. That's going to be a really cool figure. They had 2 of those. They had a bunch of them at Joe Fest, but they had 2 of them on hand there at the Kentuckiana GI Joe toy show. And there's also a flamethrower, a female flamethrower in Z-Force. I got her and another, you know what, I think this might actually be another one of the older stock figures, but to me it's all new. So we'll get into putting those together. And last but not least, in an amazing trade deal that I made with Joe and Melissa Williams, some of you watching this video may actually know them. We made a deal and I acquired another His tank for my personal collection. I have had a lot of these move through my hands, and I had one that I kept for myself. I said I was only going to keep one for myself. The same thing with the Dragonfly. But the His tank, I have regretted not keeping 2 for myself since the whole thing came about. And I have they have helped me to acquire a second His tank for my own personal collection. That one is probably going to get opened. The figures will be taken out and displayed with the rest of my classified figures, and the tank will go onto one of my shelves. I'm actually clearing out a lot of space, putting some stuff in storage, and selling a lot of older stuff off that it's just time for some of these items to move on to new homes to be appreciated. So that's a thing. Anyway, I am moving more toward loose collecting rather than the sealed mint on card, all of that. There's some of them I'm probably not going to open, like the ones that you see behind me. Most of these modern figures, probably not going to open those. I am really enjoying opening a lot of the classified figures, and I'm probably going to end up opening every single one of my windowless box figures and displaying them in the clamshell cases with the explosion background, just because I like that so much more than just the windowless boxes stacked on a shelf. And I still have a bunch. I've got probably 80 figures hanging here in clamshell cases that I move around and do different stuff with, and can take them out and put them back, whatever. And I'm enjoying them as loose figures a whole lot more than I am sealed figures. And back a long time ago, like 30 years ago, whenever I first started being a quote-unquote serious collector, anybody who was actually a collector had drilled it into my head that if you're a real collector, you don't open action figures. You don't open these because the packaging is as important as the figure. Now, in some cases, 30 years later, in some cases, yes, I really do support that. But as we've moved more toward packaging that is part of a display, where you can take the figures out of that packaging and then put them back in to store or display them, like the GI Joe window boxes, those are a prime example. All of those figures can be taken out of the box and do whatever with them and then put them back for storage or display. It's not the figures just being taken out of the box and stuck in a bag and stored in a tote and never looked at again for 6 months until the person decides to pull them out and sell them. If I can't look at it, if I don't have it in my view, if I can't enjoy it, I don't need it. That's the mindset that I've developed, is that if I can't enjoy it, then I don't need it, to try and counteract some of what I would consider to be hoarding. And I'm not hoarding, and I'm not a hoarder. Like, everything in my collection is able to be touched with my hands, except for like some of the older sealed figures that I have. But I am, like I said, moving more toward a loose collection than I am a sealed collection. And anyway, that's my haul from the 11th annual Kentuckiana GI Joe toy show. There will be another show coming up. They do one every 6 months or so. The next show coming up is the smaller version of that show. That's just a good little get-together called Winterfest, and it is held at Paraquet Springs, Conference Center in Shepherdsville, Kentucky. If you would like information on that, I've linked the website in the description below. And then again in January, that one's in January. And then next July is the 12th annual Kentuckiana GiJoe toy show. And anyway, got a lot of cool things that I'm working on here. Going to be doing some collaborations with other creators more often. Have a live stream coming up soon with a friend of mine who is starting up he already has a YouTube channel, but he's going to be focusing more on that YouTube channel. He owns a toy and comic store in Louisville, Kentucky. We're going to be doing some collaborations, some discussions and whatnot on my channel and on his. And I'll have him linked up in my recommended channels here soon. But anyway, thanks for tuning in to The Island Viper. I'll see you guys later.